In a matchup between two beloved teams in their respective regions, North America's evil geniuses take on Oceania's Chiefs in what I consider a pretty important matchup overall. At this point, the Chiefs are sitting at 0-2, and they are truly running out of lifelines if they continue to lose here. It rests on them to be able to adapt from their previous losses and recover in this next game. I've been a fan of their drafting philosophy in the past couple of games, and they've been getting extremely close in terms of being able to take down the teams above them, but at this point they simply need to perform or else their Worlds journey will quickly come to an end. As always though, if you enjoy this analysis, would love a sub for more content like this. Let's hop into the draft. For Phase 1 bans, EG ban out Draven, Swain, and Aatrox, while the Chiefs ban out Sylas, Maokai, and Kalista. For the B1 opener, EG actually opted for an Azir to start out the draft, which I have not seen in a while. It's been pretty overpowered in previous meta that was full of front-to-back teamfighting and durability. In today's meta, I'd say that he's lost some presence since there's a lot of forward comps that are pretty viable and can prevent Azir from functioning as well. A lot of decent picks are still available in the draft as well though. Fiora or Caitlyn are up, you can open things like Graves as well. EG have been experimenting with a variety of different openers right now though, so I think this Azir opener is the accumulation of their experience trying out different flows of drafts, and maybe could be something against Chiefs specifically. The Chiefs respond in kind and actually reply with a Victor pick. This matchup is honestly slightly favored for Azir here, and there's someone playing into the hands of the Azir with this matchup. The only caveat to this is that a lot of the strong counters into Azir end up revealing a bit about your team composition. Think things like Zoe, in which you have to end up committing a bit to your poke, or like a Kali, which honestly could have been a decent pick here. To follow up, the Chiefs go straight for a Lee Sin pick here R2, which makes me begin to question the point of bans playing out the way they did. For a draft with so many priority picks available, and the ability to snag a lot of them in the R1, R2, the Chiefs have not picked up anything valuable to add to their team composition, I'd say. I'll give them credit in that their comp is currently pretty flexible in the way that it can play out fights and through its lanes, but as of right now, they've volunteered to a losing matchup in mid lane and in jungle. There clearly should be something better they can take here, but it's almost like they're drafting really safe, like they're playing to not lose, rather than drafting to win. For example, Hecarim somehow slipped this deep into the draft, so EG will just quickly take that one away. They also take Leona here to sort of round out their draft. Something interesting now is that teams have been starting to hold ADC later and later, and this has been relating to the ADC conundrum that I've been talking about. There's this really weird issue right now, where there's simultaneously a lot of strong ADCs available in the game right now, but not many teams want to pick them because each of these ADCs also have pretty bad counters either in lane or in team composition. So a lot of the time now, teams are picking generalists and other roles just to prepare themselves for as many of these variations as possible, and then pick a specialist AD carry to pretty much meet the occasion. I think eventually this will actually be the name of the game for a lot of these drafts. Both EG and Chiefs round out the first portion of the draft picking their engaged supportive choice, with Leona on the side of EG and Nautilus on the side of Chiefs. Moving on to Phase 2 bans, you kind of expect the ADC pool to get choked a bit here, but actually both teams to opt to remove a bit from topside as well. In the end, the Chiefs are likely holding onto their ADC pick for R5, so they're not too concerned about this. So EG are using this opportunity to remove some of the potential pivots that Chiefs can do. Kai'Sa is the ban, as well as Gwen, while Chiefs ban out Ornn and Misfortune. For R4, Aphelios is the pick for Chiefs. Saving R5 for top is also pretty strong here, so I decently understand the pick, and it's the most well-rounded ADC remaining. EG finish off their draft with a pretty insane pivot actually, and swing completely for a backwards take instead. Ezreal and GP come out, and this basically puts their team comp in a complete 180 compared to before, I'd say. With this, I actually think it's pretty much checkmate for the Chiefs. They've committed so hard to playing a standard FTB comp and have done nothing this draft to get creative, and EG pull off a disgusting punish. Ezreal is excellent into comps where the enemy team doesn't have a way to punish in terms of range and or engage, and this is exactly with Chiefs comp here. Ezreal outranges every front-to-back composition and forces these compositions to play much more forward here than normal. GP supplements his style by making the engage that Chiefs have to go for much harder to execute. The R5 Vladimir salvages the matchup here into GP a bit, but does not do anything about the compositional issue that they are in overall. It's so hard for Chiefs to even save this situation. They need to use their R5 to draft forward, but then they have to draft forward into a comp that has backwards tools. This basically means that their only option is to effectively match the range. At this point, their main option is to match poke to put them on even terms, but even these options are a little bit subpar in my opinion. They could either play like Jace into the GP here, or they could even like flex Victor top at this point into this matchup and then do something like play Zoe into Azir. Other than this, there's like very few options they can opt in for, and the draft is just disgustingly good for EG right now. Overall, this draft is honestly a 70-30 in favor of EG, and I think that this draft was an accumulation of the events that was happening to the Chiefs throughout the play so far. I definitely think this is an uncharacteristically bad draft for them, and the evolving format of the World stage is making things quite complicated for their Worlds contention. As always though, hope this analysis was helpful to you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay fresh.